Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What is one experience you think every single human should have? Having a friend who genuinely cares about you. I'd like this one day. I've never had a good friend. Or, I'll be your friend you /did I fuck. Having no obligations or responsibilities, even if it's only for a few days. Know where you need to be, nothing on your schedule that you need to do. There are no loved ones around who you need to consider. You literally have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want. I miss this and know it will probably never happen again. This is the entire purpose of my vacations. I'm fortunate enough to have a job that can afford them, but every year I take a week and fly to Las Vegas where I spend 6 days doing whatever I feel like. I go with no plans beyond enjoying myself. It's a really cleansing experience. Seeing the night sky with as little light pollution as possible. It's something else. You can use https://www.lightpolluteomap.info to find places near you with the least amount of light pollution. It's fantastic for a nighttime date, or just an adventure /camping. POV, you live in Belgium. Good sleep. Make sure you have a good mattress. I didn't get good sleep until I got a decent mattress. It makes a huge difference. For me it was the pillow that did the trick. Bought one for $130 and 3 years later, it is still great. I take it with me everywhere I go. Finding something so funny that you roll on the floor laughing. We don't do it anymore, but I have had a best friend since college, 35 years, and when we were in school, we'd get each other laughing so hard about stupid things we'd lose all motor control. Good times. My best friends from high school and I used to have each other laughing like that almost every day in class. I remember recently thinking that I haven't laughed like that in the longest time, and I didn't know if I'd even experience that kind of laughter again. We all met up a few weeks ago though, and it was just like old times. Cracking jokes and crying laughing. It was nice. Feeling loved. Doesn't matter if it's romantic or platonic, but feeling loved in some way. Edit, thank you for all the upvotes and awards. I'm so sorry to see that so many of you are hurting and feel unloved. Just know that you are not alone in your feelings. So many of us have felt /are feeling that. Cries. Don't cry, I love you. Not worrying about money. Edit, thank you for the awards, and congratulations for seemingly having a stable income. I just got a job 2 weeks ago that pays over double what I've ever made before. Just one paycheck and my entire life has completely changed. I didn't realize how paralyzed I was every single day over money. I was like that for years after graduating. Anything I was earning was being spent on rent. Never could afford any luxuries. I learned how to be super frugal and not spend unless absolutely necessary. I'm earning 3x that now, but those habits aren't going away. I'll add to this, and say everyone needs to feel the opposite as well. Too many people lack what I think is very important perspective. The stress when you don't know if you can afford rent, or your next car payment, student loans or groceries. That's stress. Fuck, that's just how I live week to week. Being debt-free as an adult. I agree, it's so freeing. Paying off student debt, woohoo. Future mortgage, muwahahaha. A total solar eclipse. Did that once back in 2017 and it was amazing. There's another big one in North America in about 2 years. I was so upset back in 2017. I am a teacher and I bought a set of glasses and made all kinds of activities for the solar eclipse. The day before, my school said that we had to stay indoors and close the blinds that day, fear of a child looking without glasses. For 2024, I have already planned to take the day off. I will drive to an event or something. Well. Your school must be real fun at parties. What, that's crazy. In elementary school in the IITs we took basically the whole day for a 95% eclipse. Parents brought snacks and grilled hot dogs, we learned about the sun and space outside all day. Parents brought telescopes to project the sun onto a safe viewing surface on the ground. It was a huge event, best day of school ever, and a serious catalyst for my lifelong interest in space and science in general. Having loving, supportive parents. Every child deserves this, but so many children are without. This is exactly why I adopted my oldest son. His mom never wanted him and he was always treated as a burden. I started off as work mom to him and we just developed such a strong bond and I don't know how I lived without him. Solitude. I'm more of a rift man myself but I understand. I like Markov's aesthetic but cannibals. Corruption. Terrorists. No thank you. Getting to play in snow. As someone that's lived in northern Illinois their whole life, it still blows my mind that there are people out there that have never seen snow before. It's like never seeing rain before to me. As a Floridian of 2 decades, that absolutely sounds like a dream. Living away from their hometown. Living in a different country. That too. I can hardly afford to live in this country, much less move to another one. Feeling good enough for love. Edit, figured this would be popular but not 4,500 upvotes in 4 hours popular. Thanks lol. Visiting another country. I feel like it would put people in a different perspective for everyone. Also, swimming in the ocean. I heard there was an Andean mountain tribe of people who took a trip hundreds of miles down to the seaside. Their leader dipped a finger in the sea and tasted it and said yes, salty like our ancestors said. Okay, back to the mountains. This is important but I want to add, visiting a country that's significantly different from your own. Going from US, Canada or Denmark, Sweden is great but the cultures aren't drastically different. The people, the food, the ideologies. I feel like you learn a lot more about the world and yourself when you visit someplace different. And also not just staying inside your all-inclusive resort. You can go to a totally different country but if you take a direct shuttle from the airport to the hotel and never leave the resort, you won't get to know the country either. I have done this myself BTW but everybody should try exploring once as well. Living alone. Edit, thank you for the upvotes and awards. I didn't realize so many people would agree. I love reading about y'all's experiences. Also doing things alone, such as going to movies, out to eat, or otherwise just enjoy your own private time. I'm 46 now, but when I was senior in high school, I decided, fuck it, and went to the movies by myself one weekend night. I can't express how this seemingly small thing liberated me. It was a life-changing event. My co-workers used to tell me it was sad that I went to eat alone after work. I loved it. I also really enjoy traveling alone but can't do that nearly as often. Having a really good boss. Work is totally different when you have someone who mentors and cares about their employees. The glory of vanquishing your enemy in single combat. Don't you mean, crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Traveling by yourself. I have a friend who works offshore 6 weeks and is off for 6 weeks. The first 3 weeks he is off is usually spent traveling the world and I mean the world. He legit goes from Australia to the Yukon to Hong Kong in a matter of days. There's something to be said for spending a lot of time in one place, too. We recently did 15 days in Ireland and it was so much better than the 5 days the first time we went. I'd love to do that, but it sounds a bit scary. Just do, but really it depends where you're going. Maybe pick a place where you know someone who lives there, stay by yourself for a week to explore the city and then meet up. Being comfortable with yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and in all other ways. Just being happy with who you are. Working in retail /healthcare so you can learn basic empathy and truly see how horrible human beings can truly be to each other. Edit, wow, wasn't expecting this to get a lot of replies. Just to clarify, I don't mean everyone should have to do it in a long-term sense, everyone should just see what it's like. Believe me, I understand losing empathy as someone who's desperately trying to get away from his job. I guess what I mean is you learn how to treat other service workers and understand how hard a job like that it is while also seeing other people come in having the worst day of their lives and learning to appreciate what you have. At least that's how I see it. Definitely think every politician should be required at least 2 years of that. Also shout out to all other service workers who deal with people all day long, food service, UPS, postal, call center, ECT, we all deserve better. Some people come out worse from the experience. True, I used to not mind other people and have high hopes for humanity until I started working in retail. Fuck me, people are just shitheads, not everyone, but so many more people than you'd think until you've seen it for yourself. I feel like I would become numb to a point where I lack empathy in order to survive throughout my day. I've worked retail and saw myself starting to not care about customers' needs after several years, so I can't even imagine dealing with bitter people in healthcare. I am currently in the throes of compassion fatigue. It's rough out here and I work in vetmed. I would rather be bitten by patients all day long than deal with crazy owners, at this point. Having a job that means your income is below the poverty line for at least 6 months. Your perspective on consumerism and materialism will be changed forever. This should be mandatory for anyone holding political office. If they can't empathize with the majority of their constituents, they aren't qualified to represent them. I have a similar thought about working a job like retail or janitorial service or garbage driver or burger flippers or any job that's deemed menial and lesser for arbitrary reasons. For someone holding political office, they'd get to see what it's like basically living on scraps, and hopefully be much more in touch with reality and the people they represent. Hopefully for the I demand to see your manager. Types it would show them humility and that the customer can be wrong, actually. Garbage truck workers actually get paid pretty good lol, typically a lot more than the other jobs you mentioned. I think political servants should be paid minimum wage for their respective state.